Hi, I'm Grace Brown. Most of you know me because we're in school, but I'm going to give you my presentation on post-traumatic stress disorder, and this is for my honors mentorship class. A little bit about me first, even though, like I said, most of you know me. I'm a senior here at Chestatee, and I'll tell you a little bit about my mentorship. I intern at a place called Kids Cove Weekday, which is a preschool at Lakewood Baptist Church. And so basically every day I go there in the mornings and I work with the 1-year-olds class. And I chose this internship because I want to do something in psychology, and I couldn't do anything in psychology as far as mentorships go because of the confidentiality kind of thing. Like, you can't sit in with a patient and a therapist, you know. So I'm kind of seeing human development, and that's kind of a part of psychology. And so it's actually really cool. I love my mentorship because I get to watch these 1-year-olds. Like, at the beginning of the year, they weren't even walking or talking, and now they're all playing with each other and running around, and it's really cool to watch. So now, my actual project, post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm sure you've heard of it, PTSD. It's caused by a traumatic event that has happened in someone's life. And so it's not genetic or anything. It could be caused by rape, or it could be from war, like a war veteran might have it, or the death of a loved one, or even child abuse, or maybe even like a bad car accident. Symptoms of PTSD are kind of similar to depression in some ways. You might have you might feel emotionally numb, or you might kind of be in denial about your post-traumatic stress disorder, negative thoughts, obviously. There's also, the big one is intrusive memories, and that's kind of where you might have bad dreams that you can't control, or flashbacks in the middle of your daily life. That could be caused by a trigger, is what they call it. Like, if you're in a bad car accident, a trigger for you might be getting in a car and putting your hands on the steering wheel. You might start having flashbacks or panic attack or something. Another is avoidance. So it's kind of like denial, like avoiding your triggers. Like, you might avoid having to drive because you're scared that you'll have a panic attack or something. So that would be, it's kind of like affecting your daily life, and that's a bad symptom. One more is changes in emotional reactions. You might be more on guard all the time. Like, if you're raped, you might obviously be on guard if you're walking in a dark parking lot at night, or you might just have a lot of shame or something like that. The treatment, this is the cool part. There's 2 types of treatment. There's medication, and then there's psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is kind of like if you were to go into a therapist's office and talk to them. Cognitive therapy is basically talk therapy, where you're just talking with your therapist, going through your symptoms and trying to figure out how to deal with your triggers. Exposure therapy is really cool. There's actually a picture right there. Exposure therapy is kind of like up with the technological times. Like, you might go into, it's almost like a video game. You just kind of go through, like, if you were a war veteran and your friend was shot, then you might go into like a video game sort of setting where you're watching this all happen with your therapist, like in a safe setting, and you kind of go through it again and figure out how to deal with the triggers and with what happened. And so that's really cool with new technology and everything. And then another one is EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And that's, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's where you go in with your therapist, and they have you, say you were raped, they have you think about, like, imagine the memory and have it in your head, like the rape, and they will start moving their fingers back and forth rapidly in a specific way, and you watch their fingers. And this is kind of inducing REM sleep. You might have heard of the stage of REM sleep, which is your deepest stage of sleep at night. And it's where your eyes move rapidly. It's rapid eye movement sleep. And that REM sleep is when you kind of process everything that happened through the day. And that's why if you're thinking about something before you go to bed, you might have a dream about whatever you're thinking about. So it's kind of where you go through everything that happened that day, and it kind of puts it in the past and gets you ready for the next day. So whenever a therapist does this, most patients don't really know why, but a lot of psychologists think that it's because it's kind of inducing REM sleep, and it's causing you to kind of put what happened in the past and move on. And so that's really cool treatment. Medications could be antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications and stuff like that. Most of the symptoms are kind of similar to depression. where you just can't, you're just kind of depressed all the time. I did some research on this as well. I did a few annotated bibliographies on academic journals that I found. This one was on post-traumatic stress disorder, but at the beginning of the year, I was starting to do my project on schizophrenia. So this was actually on schizophrenia, but I transitioned into post-traumatic stress disorder. And I also did an interview with, most of you know Mr. Whitlow, Coach Whitlow over, he teaches AP Psychology, and he's also a war veteran too, so I talked to him about post-traumatic stress disorder, and just kind of asked him what he knows about it, and I even asked him, like, have you ever experienced anything similar to post-traumatic stress disorder? And he said, I have had bad dreams and stuff, and I do know people with post-traumatic stress disorder, but I've never been technically diagnosed. And so, yeah, that was cool to talk to him about. He had a lot of interesting things to say. And so that was my presentation on post-traumatic stress disorder. Any questions or anything? No? We good? All right. Thank you.